Greetings, fellow Toastmasters. Have you all ever had that the special moment, free time, if you will, where you can just do anything that you want, and do it even sometimes not in your free time? Well, I do. Those are what most people call hobbies, which are activities that people would engage in because they enjoy it. Well, the question I will ask today is, why are hobbies important? Well, they are important for many reasons, but in my opinion, there are three main reasons. One reason is that hobbies tend to distract people from the real world. Like, if you were engaged in a book or a movie, you wouldn't know what's going on around you. If you're in that little world, you won't be stressed about the bad test scores or other certain things that college students may have a hard time trying to forget about or feel better about. And another thing is that's why people tend to look for a way out of real life because of those terrible moments in which the death of a family member, tests, those kinds of things. So people tend to try to find an activity to keep them busy until they feel better. Another main reason is that the hobbies tend to make people happier. They tend to make people happier because the hobbies tend to be an activity that people enjoy. Take for example scuba diving. If you like watching fish, or snorkeling is also a possibility. Like if you want to see fish a lot, then you could scuba dive or snorkel a lot. I went snorkeling during spring break, by the way. It was fun. And another example is fishing. Fishing is a hobby that a good amount of people has, especially if they live close to a lake. And it makes people happy because it makes their lives easier, and it tends to make people's lives much more fulfilling if they fish, catch a large fish, or play at a concert with a musical instrument, those kind of things. So if people would want to have a happier life, they would have hobbies, and I think that most happier people have hobbies. The final reason I would say that having a hobby is important is that hobbies often lead to many friendships. For example, if a person's hobby is playing tennis or golf, then they would often play with friends. And if they do that hobby more and more, every week or so, they would get to know the people better. And hobbies would give them a good reason outside of not wanting to meet them because you have too much work to do. Hobbies would give a good reason for the people to meet up again, and maybe a friendship would begin. Even if a person does not begin a friendship with another person, that person's still better off than if they had no hobbies, because it's at least attempting to get a friendship. In conclusion, hobbies are pretty important in my opinion because they are associated with the qualities of every human. For for example, my hobbies include fishing, hiking, playing video games, trying new things, and of course Toastmasters. I have also a couple more hobbies, but right now I'm just far too busy, but I still keep in touch with my hobbies. I want to say one final thing. Since there are so many kinds and types of hobbies that people can enjoy, ranging from knitting to swimming to visiting the zoo, it still should be possible for a person to have at least one hobby to ameliorate their life.